Good afternoon. Just under 20 minutes to go in today's football matches. Vital league games are being played up and down the country, up and down the leagues. Gavin, Peacock, Martin Keown and Garth, Crooks are paying close attention to the Barclays Premier League matches starting to draw to a conclusion. Tottenham 2, Portsmouth 0 as a result. More as details on the way after latest news on the games that will reveal the next twists and turns in the fight to avoid being relegated out of the Premier League. Newcastle 4 points above the relegation places. Fulham 4 points from safety when the game at St James's Park kicked off. No win in 13 for Newcastle. Steve Sutton reporting.
It's shaping up to be a nail-biter, Ray. Newcastle lead by a goal to nil. Mark Viduka early on in the first half. There have been chances at both ends, most notably in this second half to Joey Barton. A great shot from 20 yards out, fractions past the post. Newcastle 1, Fulham 0.
Reading were 3, Birmingham 2 points above the relegation places when today's game at the Majeski got underway. Ivan Gaskell reporting.
Reading 1, Birmingham 1, precious little in it, tension increasing. We had a pre-match blizzard and a flurry of first-half chances. Reading's Andre Bikey, the only one to convert with a header, but Birmingham are more than match Reading, and Mauro Zarate with his first Birmingham goal have pulled them level. Anyone could win this one.
Ipswich on the way to the playoffs, they hope. 2-0 up away at Scunthorpe, trying to avoid relegation. And Mansfield trying to maintain their status in the Football League, trailing at home to Grimsby. Bristol City, who kicked off second in the Championship, have equalised away at Cardiff. Could be top this evening. And also this afternoon, the relegation fears have eased for Middlesbrough over recent weeks. Matter of time till Derby's relegation is confirmed. But let's hear from Damien Johnson, who's watching the game at the Riverside.
Middlesbrough 1, Derby 0. Tunshai's 6th goal of the season separates the two sides as the snow falls on Teesside. A first half counter-attack and smart finish from the Turkish international. And Middlesbrough attacking again. Ali Adier, great save from Carroll. Yes, a great finish from the Turkish international. Derby have survived a string of penalty appeals from Borough. The best in the second half. Gary O'Neill won a free kick just outside the box. Replay showed it was in the area. Middlesbrough need another to put the game to bed. They lead 1-0.
Derby still need 5 points to avoid having the lowest ever Premier League total. At the Reebok, third bottom Bolton playing 8th place Manchester City. 8th, the city's highest ever Premier League finish. Richard Askham reporting.
0-0 Ray, a forgettable first half with few chances. Just a chance there for Bolton. A shot just wide from Greta Steinson, and it was Steinson who had the best chance for Wanderers in the first half as well, thumping a header against the post. For the most part, the second period has followed the same pattern, scrappy and uninspiring. But as the game has gone on, City, with Alano off the bench, have played the more incisive football. Bolton just attacking again, but no goals.
There's a 7-point gap to make up, but Aston Villa haven't given up hope of finishing 5th and earning a UEFA Cup place. Sunderland arrived at Villa Park 2 points above the relegation places. Andrew James reporting.
Yeah, Villa 0, Sunderland 0, Ray. Villa's malaise continuing somewhat. Sunderland have perhaps been the better side overall and have had the better chances, but like Villa, their strikers simply haven't turned up today. It's been enterprising, it's been flowing, but it's lacked goals. Villa 0, Sunderland 0.
Late goal for Millwall away at Oldham. Oldham still with a chance of getting into the playoffs. Now, a 4-game unbeaten run has taken Wigan away from the relegation places, but they're not safe yet. They're playing away at 9th place Blackburn. Dan Walker's watching the game at Ewood Park.
Yes, Ray, and the run looks set to end here. They're 3-1 down. It's been a pretty clean game, but two players, one from each side, have been sent off for straight red cards. Christopher Samba in the first half of Blackburn, and Wilson Palacios just been sent off for Wigan as well. Blackburn lead 3-1. Roque Santa Cruz with an early goal. Marlon King equalised from the penalty spot for that Samba challenge. But the 10 men of Blackburn after that, they really played a better football. Jason Roberts put them 2-1 ahead. Roque Santa Cruz added a third from a brilliant David Bentley cross, and Palacios has just gone for Wigan. Fantastic game.
Goals and red cards. Everton versus West Ham, by the way. That kicks off at 5:15. Chelsea versus Arsenal. Manchester United versus Liverpool tomorrow afternoon. 3rd versus 2nd, 1st versus 4th. More details now on the Tottenham-Portsmouth match that finished just on 2 hours ago. Tony Gubbo was at White Hart Lane.
Darren Bent came off the bench to rescue Tottenham, who'd dominated Portsmouth from kick-off, but without getting a breakthrough. 80 minutes gone when Bent headed in what was the 100th goal scored at White Hart Lane this season. And it was Bent who set up Jamie O'Hara, also a substitute, for Tottenham's second goal just a minute later. All credit to Yoande Ramos for 2 inspired substitutions against a Portsmouth side who'd clearly come to get a goalless draw.
Well played, Tottenham. This could be Newcastle going to turn the corner today, Garth?
They've got to win this game, as far as I'm concerned, if they're going to survive in the Premiership. I've done the calculations and they need every point they can get hold of. Michael Owen has missed an absolute sitter to put Newcastle 2 up. He's just brought off Obafemi Martins, which is a bit of a surprise to me, and brought on Charles Nzogbia. And the only reason I think he's left Michael Owen on is because he still believes he can get the elusive goal, but he missed an absolute sitter.
What's most likely to happen at the Reebok? Because this is a keen game for Bolton. Home game against Manchester City, local rivals, a game they should take 3 points from, perhaps.
Well, again, you know, they're looking up now at all the teams above them, and everybody else, except for Wigan at the moment, are going to get points today. So it gets even more difficult for them. For Gary Megson, you know, he turned it around at the start. It's getting very tough for them. They need to win this game today.
Reading, Birmingham, anyone likely to win that? And what about Sunderland? They'll be happy with the point at Villa Park, wouldn't they?
Oh, they'll be delighted. If they nick a point there without Kenwyne Jones, they'll be absolutely delighted with that. As far as Reading, Birmingham, it looked like it was going to go Reading's way, and I thought that they would win the game. Birmingham have got their way back into it. Reading, Steve Coppell's made a couple of substitutions, positive substitutions, to try and go and win this game.
Kenwyne Jones out the Sunderland side because of flu. In the Coca-Cola Championship, one result already in. Preston 2, Burnley 1. Goal difference separated Stoke and Bristol City, who stood first and second in the table when the rest of today's games kicked off. 23 years since Stoke played in the top flight of English football. The Championship leaders going into a home game with Blackpool. Steve Lee reports from Britannia Stadium, but this game didn't get going until 3:30, Steve.
That's right, it's now Stoke 1, Blackpool 1. Stoke just back in the game. Leon Court had just scrambled an equaliser after Ben Burgess had put Blackpool ahead, but we had half an hour of delays here because of a serious M6 accident which delayed the team, the fans, the match officials, and Stoke, after consulting the Football League, decided to kick off at 3:30. Well, Blackpool had really the best of the first half, and as I say, Ben Burgess got a deserved goal, but we've just had a very emphatic start to the second half by Stoke, and Leon Court has got an equaliser. It's 1-1 now here at the Britannia Stadium.
Hull City have never played in the top flight. They're 2-0 up away at Leicester, having a terrific season. To the Majeski Stadium, Ivan Gaskell, a goal.
Yes, Reading have scored it. They've edged back in front, and it's the man that put them in the lead in the first half that scored their second. Andre Bikey, a very similar situation. Another set piece, another Bikey glancing header, and in it went. 2-1, 15 to go.
Now, that could be priceless for Reading. Let's hear about the Hull goal away at Leicester from Stuart Roach.
Yes, Leicester 0, Hull 2, and substitute Caleb Folan with his first contribution 15 minutes from time, just moments after replacing the injured Fraser Campbell. He sprinted clear, first touch was good, and then he beat Paul Henderson with a lovely finish. Henderson, the only reason really that Leicester are still in this game. He earlier saved a second half penalty from Dean Marney, who put Hull in front in the first half. It's Leicester 0, Hull 2.
Goal at Ninian Park, Cardiff against Bristol City. Bristol City kicked off second, Tony Colliver.
Yes, drama here. Steve Brooker had a goal ruled out for Bristol City. Then Cardiff went up the other end. Marvin Elliott brought down Stephen McPhail in the box. A penalty was awarded, and Peter Williams' shot was saved first by Adriano Basso, but he followed up from close range to make it Cardiff 2, Bristol City 1.
Who wants to get promoted out of the Championship? It's really tight. To Ian Turner at Ibrox, Rangers against Hibs.
11 minutes left. Rangers are going to go 6 points clear above Celtic because Nacho Novo has just made it 2. It was a long ball into the penalty area. The Hibs defence woefully failed to clear it. Nacho Novo, the substitute, latched on, slammed it into the back of the net with his right foot. That added to Jean-Claude Darcheville's first half strike. Rangers 2, Hibs 0.
Successive relegations for Luton, it would appear. In the Championship again, a derby match with Sheffield United for Barnsley. James Mason reporting.
Thanks, Ray. In the snow and wind, we've had the opening goal, and it's gone to the visitors, Sheffield United. The goal scored by Billy Sharp, racing onto a Gary Speed through ball and firing low into the corner. Barnsley 0, Sheffield United 1.
Setback for Wolves, Ian Winter, major setback.
Oh, what an advert for Championship football this is, Ray. Wolves 2, Queen's Park Rangers 3. The 5th goal coming moments ago, and it was Michele Ligertwood who burst through from midfield and fired a real rocket past Wayne Hennessy in the Wolves goal. This after Rangers had twice been in front, and twice Wolves had pulled it back to 2-2. But now Rangers lead by 3 goals to 2.
For all their FA Cup exploits, Barnsley aren't safe yet if they lose that game at home to Sheffield United. As far as League One is concerned, Swansea, the leaders, played and drew yesterday. Doncaster lost, Nottingham Forest won. Carlisle, the chance now to move into an automatic promotion place. Jared Young reporting.
And they've looked very impressive at Brisbane Road this afternoon. They lead 3-0 thanks to goals from Danny Graham, David Raven and Grant Smith. But they could have had a lot more if it wasn't for such poor finishing in front of goal. Having said that, they have been impressive. They deserve the 3 points and they're heading for those automatic places.
In League Two, the top two played and drew yesterday. MK Dons lead Peterborough on goal difference. Hereford kicked off in the third automatic promotion place. They're playing Bury at Edgar Street, watched by Mark Bishop.
Yes, Ray, Hereford 0, Bury 0. Good end-to-end game here at Edgar Street. We've had 2 mini snowstorms. Hereford's Gary Hooper hitting the crossbar and then forcing the Bury goalkeeper Darren Randolph into a brilliant save on the rebound. For Bury, they've had their chances. The best, Wayne Brown, terrific header. Somehow or other, Bishop managed to claw the ball away off the goal line, and then Robinson's header cleared off the line yet again, this time by Buchanan. Still waiting for that first goal at Edgar Street. 0-0.
Scottish Division 2, Berwick going down with a bang too, aren't they? Brechin 5, Berwick 0. Berwick going to be relegated. Chance for Ross County to be promoted out of Division 2 today. Don't think that's going to be the case looking at the maths. Brian McLaughlin.
Certainly not, Ray. They trail by 3 goals to 2. A win, though, would have given them promotion in the Championship, but Barrowman and Scott give them a 2-0 lead after 20 minutes. We could almost taste the champagne. Wraith themselves are heading for a playoff place. They reply through Templeton and a good Willie double, and it could have been even more desperate for Ross County because Templeton and Good Willie have both missed good chances in the second half. We've 6 minutes left for play here, and it's Ross County 2, Wraith Rovers 3.
Still time for score lines to change. Goals scored between now and final whistles could be precious. To St James's Park, Steve Sutton watching the Newcastle-Fulham match.
Still Newcastle 1, Fulham 0, Ray. You can almost taste the tension as it rises now. We're well inside the last 10 minutes. Newcastle have just got a free kick 25 yards out, but they've had to do a little bit of defending in the last few minutes. And if Fulham only could produce that final incisive ball, well, this might have been a different story. At the minute, Viduka's goal in the first half separates the sides.
League One, fifth bottom Crew. Hartlepool have pulled a goal back. Fifth bottom Crew need points to escape from the relegation places. There's been a goal at Villa Park. Andrew James reporting on the Aston Villa-Sunderland match.
It's gone to Sunderland, Ray, and it's been scored by Michael Chopra, the man who was possibly leaving on loan for Cardiff this week. Villa had been huffing and puffing with their 3 strikers on the pitch, but the ball was not long downfield. Zat Knight and Larson were in a mess between them, the 2 Villa central defenders, and Chopra, the Sunderland substitute, nipped in to score at the Holt end, and it's no more than Sunderland deserve. Villa 0, Sunderland 1.
Sunderland's last away win, January 2006. Immediately to St James's Park, a goal, Steve Sutton.
Yes, Ray, and what a goal it might prove to be. Newcastle 2, Fulham 0. Michael Owen, he missed a sitter of a header in the first half. Reporting a few minutes ago, Newcastle had a free kick 20 yards out. Jeremy took it, he floated it in. Michael Owen, as so often he does, got in front of the defence. A glancing header giving Casey Keller no chance. Is Keegan on for his first win since his return? Newcastle 2, Fulham 0.
First win in 14 for Newcastle this afternoon, and a vital goal for Sunderland.
Ray,
isn't it incredible the way things changes round in a minute?
It is the fact that Sunderland have got a goal away from home, although Villa are right on top of things there, but there's a great save by the Sunderland keeper. Newcastle, Keegan keeps faith with Owen, and Owen comes good after missing a sitter, as our reporters just said. Just all over the pitch, you're seeing very, very important contest and very important points being picked up.
Vital points, aren't they?
Yeah. If Sunderland win here and Bolton don't get anything, it's looking perilous for Bolton. And if Fulham lose at St James's Park, the door's closing on them.
It is, but Birmingham are only 2 points just above, so they're still in the mix as well. You know, a lot of work to do, but Bolton at home, you've really got to win your home games. But Sunderland, that's the result of the day if they can finish that one off.
What's your reading of the situation today, Gavin?
Well, I'm just looking at St James. I mean, that's the game that we've been drawn to a lot of the afternoon at St James's Park, and the pressure that's on there. And Kevin Keegan's been boosting up Michael Owen, saying he's the man that can keep us up. And, you know, to be fair, he's got himself, 8 goals this season still, Owen, and he would consider it not a great season. But it's another header for Owen, and this could be a turning point for Newcastle because it could start the momentum they need for a decent run in to get out of trouble.
Reading fans will be praying the score doesn't change in the Madejski Stadium. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, guys, closing stages here. It's still Reading 2, Birmingham 1. I know you were commenting there about home form being crucial, and Reading have only picked up 3 points in 15 points at home since the turn of the year. They're about to double that if they can hang on here, but it's a bit of an if. Forsell and Jerome have gone really close for Birmingham, oh so close, but Hanneman and the width of a post have denied them on both occasions. Reading hanging on, Bikey's double might well have done it for them. 2-1.
Yeah, Martin Keown makes a good point. Birmingham right down there as well. To the Riverside, Damien Johnson, Middlesbrough against Derby.
6 minutes remaining here. Middlesbrough still lead by a goal to nil. You'd hardly think it was Easter weekend as you look out on the scene at the Riverside. A snow shower, a snowstorm really, raging around the ground. Derby have barely mustered a chance on goal. But you just have to bear in mind that Middlesbrough, they could concede one late on. They're building a bit of pressure, Derby, and this game isn't over yet. They lead 1-0, Borough.
How much would a goal of the Reebok for Bolton be worth in the moments to come? Richard Askham.
It would be, Ray, but no goals. All of a sudden, though, we've had chances at both ends for Bolton. Davies has had a header blocked on its way into the goal. Diouf, a shot clawed away by Joe Hart in the City net. City, with Alano on as a substitute, though, were breaking quickly when they get the chance and almost scored through Felipe Saicedo a moment ago after an almighty scramble in the box. But no goals here.
Good draws against Aston Villa and Arsenal of late for Middlesbrough. Let's hear about the Blackburn-Wigan match now. Dan Walker.
Well, very impressive from Blackburn today. They had 10 men for more than an hour. Still, they're playing a better football here. And they're by no means, of course, out of the race for Europe yet, Ray. They lead 3-1 against a Wigan side, also down to 10 men now after that straight red for Wilson Palacios. Wigan still coming forward, but Blackburn looking very comfortable at the moment.
In the Championship, a 3:30 kickoff for the leader Stoke at home to Blackpool. Steve Lee.
Yes, it's now Stoke 1, Blackpool 1. We had a half-an-hour delay because of M6 problems early on, and it was Blackpool, really, the visitors, who looked the most impressive in the first half. Ben Burgess putting them ahead with a shot that deflected off Leon Court, rather. And in the second half, it was Leon Court who actually scrambled an equaliser for Stoke just after the break, 2 minutes after the break. A very poor defensive header by Gary Taylor-Fletcher fell straight to Leon Court. He got the equaliser, and Stoke really have been pressing slightly more in the second half. We've got 13 minutes gone in the second half now. It's Stoke 1, Blackpool 1.
Very competitive in the top half of the Championship. Let's hear about Bristol City. They kicked off second away at Cardiff. Tony Colliver.
Very competitive game here as well. At Cardiff 2, Bristol City 1. There's been drama here. Firstly, Cardiff led through Roger Johnson. Then Bristol City drew level with a header from Deli Adebola. Following that, Bristol City's Steve Brooker had a goal rolled out for offside. And after that, Peter Whittingham restored Cardiff's lead, following up a penalty. And then drama again. The Bristol City manager Gary Johnson was sent down the tunnel by the referee after dragging the ball from the fourth official. The score, though, Cardiff 2, Bristol City 1.
You can see how tight it is in the top half of the promotion places in the Championship. Let's hear about Watford away at Plymouth. Plymouth never played in the top flight of English football. Hamish Marshall.
It's 1-1 here. We've got 5 minutes plus at least 5 minutes of stoppage time because Plymouth are down to 10 men. Hungarian Peter Halmosi was sent off while being stretchered off. He'd been booked and got the second yellow card and a knee injury for a late challenge on Matthew Sadler. The challenge led to anger and confrontation between the Watford bench and home supporters. Lee Williamson's free kick in the first half cancelled out Jermaine Easter's opener in front of Plymouth's biggest crowd of the season. 1-1.
Leicester trying to get away from the relegation places. Hull trying to climb up towards the automatic promotion places or make sure they get into the playoff places too. Stuart Roach.
Still Leicester 0, Hull 2. Leicester still in the thick of a relegation scrap. Hull still dreaming of the Premiership. Hull deserve it. Sub Caleb Folan rounding off 15 minutes from time after Dean Marnie's first half opener. Marnie also saw a penalty saved by Paul Henderson, who's the only reason Hull aren't winning this by an even more comfortable margin. A minute left, it's Leicester 0, Hull 2.
Late goals. Torquay have got a second goal away at Stafford Rangers, boosting their promotion chances. Hibs have pulled one back at Ibrox. Hear about it in a moment. Equalised at home to Cowdenbeath. Full-time whistles starting to sound around the country, but still time for scorelines to change. Let's go to Carrow Road. Norwich against Colchester. Carrie Davis.
2 minutes left of play here, and Norwich lead by 4-1. It's a hat-trick for Jamie Curitan against his old club. It was some lovely play from Bertram down the left, who found Maceo Richters, the Dutchman, on his debut. Dug out across to find Curitan. It was drilled left-footed across the goal. Dean Gerken had no chance. Norwich looking good for 3 points. They lead 4-1.
It could be a vital win for Sheffield Wednesday this afternoon, trying to get away from the relegation places in the Championship. It could really hit Palace's playoff chances. Harry Gratian.
Well, it's a good performance by Wednesday as well, Ray. Wade Small got the vital goal on 67 minutes. To be honest, they nearly had 3 or 4 before then. I have to say in the last 7 or 8 minutes, though, Palace are really piling on the pressure in a real blizzard here, but it's still Wednesday 2-1 up.
To Ibrox, SPL leaders Rangers playing Hibs. Ian Turner.
Well, it's just about all over here, but a moment ago Dean Shields pulled back in beautiful style a goal for Hibs. First of all, he lobbed keeper Alan McGregor. It came off the bar. Shields first to react as it came back, and he slammed it home. Rangers 2, Hibs 1.
To Villa Park, Andrew James watching the Aston Villa-Sunderland game. Are Sunderland going to get their first away win since January 06?
It looks to be on the cards, Ray. And to be fair, they deserve it. They've been the more enterprising side really from the start. They just lack that finish. The goal from Chopra, great ball forward from Kieran Richardson that split the 2 Villa central defenders. It's 25 years since they won at Villa in the league. They've never won at Villa Park in the Premier League, and it looks to be Sunderland's day. It's Villa 0, Sunderland 0, 2 minutes of stoppage time being played.
That could be a massive boost for Sunderland. How about Bolton at home to Manchester City? Richard Askham.
Still no goals, Ray, although we almost had one a moment ago. Kevin Nolan rising in the box, heading. The ball was heading, I think, for the bottom right-hand corner, but was cleared off the line. At the other end, Benjani has headed over, went very well placed for Manchester City. Bolton are full of urgency. They're pressing, but they can't quite find that goal.
Is there going to be any late drama in the Reading-Birmingham match? Ivan Gaskell.
The only drama is that the referee has just blown his whistle, and it means that Reading have won the game 2-1. Another precious win. They're timing it right. They really had to fight for it today, though. Nip and tuck all afternoon. In the end, it was Andre Bikey who twice nipped in to tuck away set-piece headers at the near post, proving the difference between two sides weighed down by the threat of relegation. A succession of near misses, and despite Mauro Zarati's second-half equaliser, Birmingham will be feeling that pressure just a little more tonight. Reading 2, Birmingham 1.
Well, vital 3 points for Reading. Scunthorpe-Ipswich. Scunthorpe trying to get their way out of the relegation places. Ipswich trying to get into the playoff places in the Championship. Alan Biggs.
Late hope for Scunthorpe. Ben May on a substitute has scored at the near post. It's 2-1 to Ipswich. Pablo Cunago opened the account for them. He was later sent off along with Scunthorpe's Jack Cork fighting off the ball evidently. Then 2-0 to Ipswich. Great solo goal from Louis Castro Cito, his first for the club. And now Ben May, hope for Scunthorpe, who trail 2-1.
Right, let's go to the Reebok Stadium. Bolton against Manchester City. Final whistle has gone. Richard Askham.
It's finished 0-0 here, Ray. Both sides had chances to win it. For Bolton, Steinson hit a post in the first half. Davies saw one cleared off the line in the second. Ilano made a bit of a difference for City when he came on. The Brazilian forcing a good save from Ali Al-Habsi. And Filippo Caicedo also went very close for the away side. A point okay for them, not really enough for Bolton.
Let's go to Aston Villa. Andrew James followed the Aston Villa-Sunderland game for us. Roy Keane and all his Sunderland squad and his teammates and all the fans delighted with a sensational away win. Let's hear from Andrew James.
Yeah, Ray, Aston Villa 0, Sunderland 1. Big disappointment for Martin O'Neill, who was just involved momentarily there in a skirmish with a couple of supporters. He was a Sunderland fan as a boy, but he won't be celebrating, not like Roy Keane will. Sunderland's first away win in the Premiership. The goal from Michael Chopra, who hadn't scored in open play since August of this season. A beautiful ball forward from Kieran Richardson. Chopra got on the end of it with 10 minutes or so left to play and put the ball beyond Scott Carson. It perhaps means the end of Villa's fate in UEFA Cup hopes, but it perhaps means that Sunderland will live to fight another season in the Premier League. Villa 0, Sunderland 1.
Massive win for Sunderland. Massive win for Newcastle this afternoon. Kevin Keegan's first win since he returned. Newcastle's first win in 14. But trouble for Fulham now. Steve Sutton reporting.
Yes, Ray, Newcastle 2, Fulham 0. A massive collective sigh of relief at full time and a standing ovation for Newcastle. They took the lead on 7 minutes, a good individually worked goal from Mark Viduka, but Fulham threatened to come back throughout the first half. It looked as if 1-0 was going to be a nervy second half for Newcastle. Michael Owen had missed a sitter of a header. Casey Keller had saved brilliantly twice. Then inside the last 10 minutes, a free kick 20 yards out. Michael Owen in front of the defence, a glancing header into the back of the net. Game over. Newcastle 2, Fulham 0.
Comprehensive win for Norwich this afternoon. A late goal at Hillsborough for Harry Grayson to tell us about.
Well, Wednesday really played very well in the second half until the last seconds of this game when Matt Lawrence got the equaliser. I have to say it was a frenetic attempt by Palace towards the end. A couple of corners went desperately close. Matt Lawrence got there and they played 4.5 minutes of added time and they got it with about 10 seconds left. 2-2.
Nothing's going to save Colchester from being relegated, it would appear, but this is great news for Norwich, who'd lost the last 3. Carrie Davis.
Yes, they, after one win in 8 games, a much-needed 3 points, they beat East Anglian rivals Colchester by 5-1. Jamie Cureton, the hat-trick hero, taking home the match ball. It was John at Somerville who put them in front, though, with an individual effort. Cureton made it 2-0. Kevin Lisby pulled one back for Colchester, but it was a massive blow for Colchester as well, and that Kevin Lisby went off with an ankle injury. Cureton made it 3-1 from the penalty spot after Phil Eiffel brought down Matty Patterson. Again, Cureton for the 4th goal, and Dion Dublin added a late one for the 5th. It's Norwich 5, Colchester 1.
No win in 5 now for Bristol City, but let's go to the Riverside. Middlesbrough against Derby, Damien Johnson.
Middlesbrough 1, Derby 0. Borough edge closer to survival. County closer to the worst ever points return in a Premier League season. The solitary goal came in the first half, a swift counter-attack. Boateng fed Tunchai, and he notched his 6th goal of the season. It wasn't much of a spectacle in the intermittent snow showers at the Riverside. Borough had 4 separate appeals for penalties turned down by referee Martin Atkinson. Derby had keeper Roy Carroll to thank for keeping the score respectable. Rob Earnshaw woefully off target with a late header. 1-0 Middlesbrough.
Oh, dramatic inclusion at Molineux. Wolves against Queen's Park Rangers. Ian Winter.
Oh, Ray, the word dramatic doesn't half do it justice here. Wolves 3, Queen's Park Rangers 3. The goal in the 4th minute of stoppage time. Andy Keown, after the mother of all goalmouth scrambles, the final whistle has gone. QPR 3 times in front. Wolves 3. A point apiece that does little to help the playoff ambitions of either side. It's finished.
As Ian Winter trails away, we can hear from Tony Colliver, who's in Ninian Park watching the Cardiff-Bristol City match.
Yes, the full-time score at Ninian Park was Cardiff 2, Bristol City 1, and a feisty Derby encounter here had drama throughout. Cardiff took a half-time lead thanks to a Roger Johnson header, but after Dele Adebola headed an equaliser, Cardiff's Peter Whittingham then nudged the home side in front again. Then, after taking the ball from the 4th official, Bristol City's manager Gary Johnson was sent to the stands by referee Keith Stroud. No wins in 5 now for Bristol City, and Cardiff are unbeaten in 5.
Hull City never played in the top flight of English football, are 3rd in the table. Stuart Roach reporting.
Leicester City 0, Hull 2, a result which leaves Leicester in the thick of a relegation scrap and Hull still dreaming of the Premiership. It was a deserved win too, substitute Caleb Folan sealing it 15 minutes from time after Dean Marnie opened the scoring. Marnie also saw a penalty saved by Paul Henderson, who spared Leicester a heavier defeat. 30,374 saw it, Leicester's biggest of the season, but the majority of those had long gone by the final whistle, and those home fans who stayed booed Leicester off. Leicester 0, Hull 2.
Chesterfield's playoff chances in League 2 have been enhanced by a 4-2 home win at home to Accrington Stanley. In the Championship, still playing in the Stoke-Blackpool game. This match didn't get going till 3:30. Latest news from Steve Lee.
Well, it's now Stoke 1, Blackpool 1. An exciting second half. We've had chances at both ends. Leon Court grabbed an equaliser 2 minutes into the second half for Stoke, and for a time they held sway, really. But Blackpool really have more than given their best in this second half. McPhee's had a very decent header, well saved by the keeper, and so far it's fairly even. It's 1-1.
There's still chance for a winner at home park between Plymouth and Watford. Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, we're 5.5 minutes into 10 minutes of stoppage time. That time mainly accrued while Peter Halmosi, the Hungarian, was actually being treated for injury. He was sent off, though, while he was stretchered off after a rash tackle, as Plymouth are trying to hold on here, although they have looked more likely to score since they went down to 10 men. Paul Watton had a free kick turned onto the post. Watford trying to end a run of 6 draws. Danny Shitu has just had a header cleared off the line. 1-1, still about 4 minutes to go.
Let's go to Ewood Park. Wigan's 4-game unbeaten run has come to an end. Dan Walker.
It's come to an end in a mixture of snow and sunshine at Ewood Park. Roque Santa Cruz headed Blackburn in front on 12 minutes, but when Christopher Samba hauled down Emil Heskey, Samba was dismissed. Marlon King levelled it from the spot, but Blackburn were inspired by David Bentley today and went ahead again through Jason Roberts before half-time. Cruz's 18th of the season, another header sealed the deal before Wilson Palacios even numbers up after a reckless challenge on David Dunn. A nasty knee injury, by the way, to Eric Edmond will worry Wigan, but 4 goals goals, 2 red cards, a penalty and the occasional blizzard. A classic game of English football, Ray.
In League One now, a combination of the Good Friday results and Carlisle winning today means they're second in the table. Jared Young.
Yes, they've moved into those automatic promotion places after an excellent away performance this afternoon. The goals came from Danny Graham, David Raven and Grant Smith. So they sealed the victory for Carlisle. But to be honest, with better finishing, they would have scored a lot more. Final score, Orient 0, Carlisle 3.
And let's go to Ibrox to hear about the Rangers-Hibs match from Ian Turner.
Well, again, in unspectacular fashion, Rangers picked up 3 points, and it's now looking increasingly likely, with games running out, that Celtic will have to edge the remaining Old Firm matches if they're to retain their league title. Jean-Claude Darcheville's well-taken goal at the end of a dull first half was bettered by Nacho Novo 12 minutes from time. And although Dean Shields pulled one back for Hibs with 1 minute to go, Rangers were worthy winners. Rangers 2, Hibs 1.
Our results are just about in. Time for Tim Gudgeon to confirm today's final scores.
In the Barclays Premier League, Aston Villa 0, Sunderland 1. Blackburn Rovers 3, Wigan Athletic 1. Bolton Wanderers 0, Manchester City 0. Everton and West Ham United have an evening kick-off shortly. Middlesbrough 1, Derby County 0. Newcastle United 2, Fulham 0. Reading 2, Birmingham City 1. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Portsmouth 0. In the Coca-Cola Championship, Barnsley 0, Sheffield United 1. Cardiff City 2, Bristol City 1. Leicester City 0, Hull City 2. Norwich City 5, Colchester United 1. Plymouth Argyle 1, Watford 1. That's the latest score. Preston North End 2, Burnley 1. Scunthorpe United 1, Ipswich Town 2. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Crystal Palace 2. Southampton 0, Coventry City 0. Stoke City 1, Blackpool 1. They were delayed start, so that's just the latest score at the moment. Wolverhampton Wanderers 3, Queen's Park Rangers 3. Coca-Cola League 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Swindon Town 1. Bristol Rovers 2, Huddersfield Town 3. Crewe Alexandra 3, Hartlepool United 1. Gillingham 2, Bournemouth 1. Leeds United and Walsall kick off in the evening. Leyton Orient 0, Carlisle United 3. Luton Town 1, Cheltenham Town 1. Oldham Athletic 1, Millwall 1. League 2, Barnet 5, Lincoln City 2. Brentford 2, Wrexham 0. Chester City 2, Darlington 1. Chesterfield 4, Accrington Stanley 2. Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Shrewsbury Town 1. Hereford United 0, Bury 0. Mansfield Town 1, Grimsby Town 2. Morecambe 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1. Notts County 1, Rochdale 0. Rotherham United 1, Bradford City 1. In the Blue Square Premier, Aldershot Town 2, Altrincham 1. Burton Albion 1, Crawley Town 0. Cambridge United 0, Weymouth 0. Exeter City 1, Kidderminster Harriers 0. Halifax Town 0, Oxford United 3. Northwich Victoria 4, Farsley Celtic 0. Rushton and Diamonds 1, York City 1. Stafford Rangers 0, Torquay United 2. The Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Aberdeen 1, St Mirren 1. Dundee United 2, Motherwell 0. Hearts 0, Falkirk 0. Kilmarnock 4, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1. Rangers 2, Hibernian 1. Ernbrew Scottish Division 1, Clyde 1, Queen of the South 4. Dunfermline Athletic 0, Dundee 1. Morton 1, Livingston 1. Partick Thistle 0, St Johnstone 0. Stirling Albion 0, Hamilton Academical 1. Scottish Div 2, Ayr United 1, Cowden Beath 1. Brechin City 5, Berwick Rangers 0. Peterhead 1, Airdrie United 4. Queen's Park 1, Alloa Athletic 1. Ross County 2, Wraith Rovers 3. And Scottish Div 3, Albion Rovers 1, Elgin City 1. Arbroath 1, Forfar Athletic 1. East Fife 0, Montrose 0. Stenhousemuir 1, Dumbarton 1. Stranraer 2, East Stirling 1. And in the Welsh Premier, Carnarvon 1, Welshpool Town 1. Carmarthen and Bangor City kick off this evening. Connah's Quay 0, Port Talbot 1. Haverfordwest 4, Airbus UK 0. Llangefni Town 3, Aberystwyth 0. Neath 3, Newcastle Druids 0. That's the latest score. Newtown 0, the New Saints FC 0. Portmarnock 2, Llanelli 4. And Rhyl 2, Cassus 1.
Some late kickoffs. Plymouth Argyle 1, Watford 1 is now a result. Stoke City 1, Blackpool 1 is the latest score. That match didn't kick off till 3:30. Traffic congestion meant that the teams, the referee, the officials and the supporters couldn't get to the Britannia Stadium in time for the 3 o'clock kick-off. 3:30 kick-off, and the latest score, Stoke City 1, Blackpool 1. And in the Principality Building Society Welsh Premier League, still playing there, Neath 3, Newcastle Druids 0. We'll hear the thoughts of Gavin Peacock, Martin Keown and Garth Crooks in the light of all today's results after we've looked at the updated league tables. And in the Barclays Premier League, title contenders take centre stage tomorrow. So Everton are the highest placed side in action today. They host West Ham in the 5:15 kickoff. Blackburn, the only side in the top half to win so far this weekend. Just 1 point now separates 6th from 9th. It's now 25 games without a win for Derby County. They could be relegated in the next 2 games. Fulham have set a club record of 32 matches without an away win. Bolton remain in the bottom 3, but now just a point behind Birmingham. Sunderland's first Premier League away win since January 2006 gives them a 4-point cushion above the relegation zone. In the Coca-Cola Championship, Stoke began today as the Championship leaders. Their match against Blackpool, as we've heard, kicked off half an hour late. Later score 1-1. It's now 5 games without a win for second place Bristol City, beaten at Cardiff today. Watford have made it a remarkable 7 draws in a row. Appropriately enough, Jermaine Easter was on target for Plymouth, but Lee Williamson levelled for the Hornets. Hull up to 3rd after victory at Leicester, while Ipswich boosted their playoff hopes with a win at Scunthorpe. It's now 9 games without a win for bottom side Colchester. They lost at Norwich. Sheffield Wednesday remain in the bottom 3 after conceding a late equaliser against Crystal Palace. Southampton drew with Coventry, while Barnsley were beaten by Sheffield United. Coca-Cola League 1. Leader Swansea dropped points yesterday, drawing against Southend. Wasn't a good Friday for Doncaster either. They lost at Yeovil. So Carlisle move into 2nd spot after beating Leyton Orient. Nottingham Forest won last night to stay 4th. Defeats for Port Vale on Thursday and Bournemouth today leave both clubs on the brink of relegation. Luton unable to hold on for a 2nd successive victory, while Gillingham won for the first time in 6 games. They remained 4 points behind Crewe, who also won. And in Coca-Cola League 2, a reminder the joint leaders MK Dons and Peterborough drew 1-1 yesterday. 3rd place Hereford could only pick up a point against Bury. Darlington slipped up away to Chester, while Wycombe remained 6th after winning at Morecambe. Wrexham, 6 points from safety after defeat at Brentford. Mansfield have the worst home record in the division. They remain in the bottom 2 after losing at home to Grimsby. Macclesfield were beaten at Stockport yesterday and dropped below Notts County, who beat Rochdale 1-0. Blue Square Premier, Aldershot extended their lead to 12 points, courtesy of a win over Altrincham, and Cambridge's failure to beat Weymouth. Torquay United and Burton Albion both won to consolidate their push for a playoff place. And at the bottom, Northwich reignited their hopes of survival with a 4-0 win over fellow strugglers Farsley Celtic. The sides are separated by just 4 points now, and Northwich have a game in hand. Altrincham only 3 points clear of danger after their loss at Aldershot. Weymouth picked up a point. The Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League. Rangers 6 points clear of Celtic at the top after beating Hibs 2-1 at Ibrox. Jean-Claude Darcheville and Nacho Novo on target for the home side. Celtic can cut the gap when they play Gretna tomorrow, while Dundee United up to 3rd thanks to victory against Motherwell. St Mirren picked up a useful point at Aberdeen but lose ground on Kilmarnock, who beat Inverness 4-1 at Rugby Park. In the Scottish Division 1, Hamilton at the top and Stirling Albion at the bottom, fighting to avoid relegation. Let's take a look at Scottish Division 2. Ross County's title celebrations will have to wait just a little longer. They lost at home to Wraith Rovers, now 10 points clear of Airdrie, who thrashed Peterhead. Berwick were thumped at Brechin and would have been relegated but for Ear's late equaliser against Cowdenbeath. In the Ironbrew Scottish Division 3, East Fife drew today, having clinched their first league championship for 60 years last weekend. East Stirling look likely to finish bottom for the 6th year in a row. If they do, they'll face a vote in 2010 on whether they should be allowed to remain in the league. With managers and players emerging in their dressing rooms, lots of post-match reaction on the way after this summary of the top football stories of the day. For 2 months and 10 games, Kevin Keegan's wait for a win is finally over. Mark Viduka and Michael Owen on target against Fulham. Blackburn's Roque shows he's a real heavyweight. Another 2 goals as Rovers deliver a blow to Wigan's survival hopes. Samba and Palacios sent off. Both sides end the game with 10 men. Sunderland feel right at home at the Villa. Michael Chopra's late goal earns an unlikely 3 points for the worst away side in the Premier League. 2 inspired substitutions from Wanda Ramos, Singh Pompey. Darren Bent and Jeremy O'Hara coming off the bench to net the goals at White Hart Lane. Reading made it 3 wins from 4 with an Andre Biquet brace singing Birmingham. Bolton picked up their first point in 6 games but remain in the bottom 3 following a goalless draw with Manchester City. Tunkai's winner edges Middlesbrough nearer safety, but that is now 25 league games without a win for Derby County. Highlights of all today's Barclays Premier League games and the Everton-West Ham match still to be played in tonight's Match of the Day at 10:30. All the goals, all the saves, all the major incidents will be shown. Quite a lineup for tomorrow's Match of the Day too. Highlights of the Chelsea-Arsenal game and the match at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Liverpool. The Premier League title race centre stage. Commentary on both games on Radio 5 Live during the afternoon. 10 o'clock start for Match of the Day 2 on BBC 2. What a result for Sunderland this afternoon. They beat Aston Villa by a goal to nil, their first away win in the Premier League since January 2006. Here's their manager, Roy Keane.
Roy, the first away win of the season. How big a 3 points is that for Sunderland?
Well, I suppose we'll be able to tell by the end of the season. But obviously, we've been near to an away win, I have to say, a few times over the course of the season. But it's nice to get under our belt now, and as I said, we maybe reflect at the end of the season how big a win it was.
It was a fantastic all-round team performance from you, wasn't it, today?
Yeah, I have to say I thought we played quite well, and we followed up, I think, from last week's performance against Chelsea, and again, we just felt if we got the 1 or 2 chances, hopefully we would take it, and we did that today, and sometimes that is the difference. Our keeper made 1 or 2 good saves. I thought our back four were outstanding, and then we caused them 1 or 2 problems.
Michael Chopra with the all-important goal, and I suppose he'll be delighted with that because he feels, and you feel, I know, that he should have got the winner at Derby a few weeks ago.
Well, he did get the winner at Derby, but unfortunately it was ruled offside when clearly he was onside. So we're delighted for Chops. I've said it before. He's quite lively, especially in and around the box. And when he got that chance, I did fancy him, I have to say, because he actually has been looking really sharp this week in training. So it's a good boost for him, and a good boost for everyone at the football club.
The Sunderland fans at the end were singing "Chopra is one of us," presumably in reference to his Newcastle connections. That must be very satisfying for both you and for him.
Yeah, of course. Well, it helped straight away when he did settle in when he scored on the opening day against Tottenham. So I think the fans have been fine with Chops, I have to say. And if he keeps performing like that and keeps contributing like he has been doing, fair enough, he hasn't scored that many goals, but in defence of him, we've been playing him wide right in a lot of games, and we've not created that many chances. But we know if we do create chances, he can put the ball in the back of the net like we saw today. So we're delighted, and again, our supporters are fantastic today, and it's great for them because I'm sure they've been as frustrated as myself.
Massive away win for Sunderland. Good for North East fans today. Sunderland, Newcastle, Middlesbrough all win. So there's a long way to go, but this is a significant away victory.
Absolutely, and they play each other very soon. That game's going to be crucial to both sides. Interesting to hear Roy Keane talking about Michael Chopra being sharp in training this week. He left him on the subs bench and brought him off. Got the winner, of course, but it was a very interesting comment. But he's absolutely right. Sunderland deserved the victory, in my opinion.
Well played, Sunderland. Anything different about Newcastle this afternoon, Gavin?
Well, they went for it we had Viduka back in the big guns. They needed the big guns to fire, and they did. Viduka and Owen. Owen banged in another goal just to seal it. But it was a crucial win for Newcastle, because what it will do, it will generate belief amongst the players and the fans as well, and just give them that little cushion. Maybe
Newcastle have turned the corner, but that certainly turns the screw on Fulham, in second bottom in the table, Martin.
Well, I think Fulham look as if they're doomed now. You know, really, it's really about the next team above. And is it going to be Bolton or is it going to be Birmingham? And the next two games will decide that. Bolton play against Arsenal and against Aston Villa away. So that's you know, two tough games. And I think for Birmingham, they've got Man City at home and Wigan away. So what happens really in the next two games could decide what happens for the rest of the season.
Newcastle and Sunderland, by the way, are not out of it yet.
Let's get a reaction from the Fulham manager, Roy Hodgson, after the 2-0 defeat at St James's Park.
Roy, last week, a real step forward against Everton. Today, a step backwards?
Yeah, probably not. Maybe in the first half. I thought in the first half the performance actually was good, especially attacking-wise. Went a goal down early, which meant life was going to be more difficult for us. But I thought we held our own more than well in the first half, and I was really looking forward to kicking on from there in the second half. But to be honest, in the second half we didn't play as well as we had in the first half, and took a chance towards the end, put a third front player on, run the risk, I suppose, that on the counter-attack we would get exposed, and that's what happened.
How worried are you by the lack of chances created, though?
Well, we didn't have any lack of chances in the first half. We did in the second half. I thought in the first half we had quite a lot of very, very dangerous situations, crossing situations, strikes at goal. So I'm disappointed about the lack of chances in the second half, not the first half.
In particular, Jimmy Bullard looked bright.
First half again, very good for first half from him and the rest of the team. I thought our attacking play in the first half was good, especially after going a goal down. But we lost that, unfortunately, somewhere in the second half. And as I said just before, paid the price with a second goal.
Fulham second bottom, 4 points from safety. Next weekend's fixtures can't come quick enough. It's getting incredibly exciting as far as relegation is concerned, as long as you're not involved in it. Well, Fulham have to win at Derby County now. Look at those fixtures, Garth.
Well, extraordinary. There's so many mouth-watering fixtures that are coming up. You just don't know where to start.
What do you think, Gavin?
Well, I mean, it's big for Fulham going to Derby because this terrible away record. The other thing is a crucial win. You mentioned the North East doing well, but Middlesbrough winning today was crucial because they go to Chelsea next week, and you wouldn't see them winning there.
Who knows what will happen tomorrow, and then the Merseyside Derby next week as well. Garth, just before we close, the Football Association is starting an initiative to bring respect back into the game, and players have now. What is the case? What needs to happen for players to start showing respect to referees?
Well, the Football Association are adamant that they want to actually start this initiative from the grassroots first and build up. And
do you agree with that?
Well, I think it's something that they're in charge of the national game, and if they want to start that, that's very well and good. But why do they not stop at the top of the pyramid? Because you start at the top, where youngsters are emulating their heroes, then it will have a much bigger effect. I've just seen Pedeston swear at Mike Dean. The sort of language that deserved the red card. He didn't send him off. Now, Graham Poll is saying that the reason it doesn't happen is because they don't get the support from the Football Association. If that's the case, it's wrong.
What's your view on this?
Yeah, I agree with Garth. I think it's been coming for a long time. I think that players need to show more respect for the authority on the field. Managers at times as well, by the way they speak about referees. And that needs to be reciprocated, obviously, from the referees. But working together to make it better, and the youngsters will emulate, yeah.
I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about this. Just to confirm, for full details on all today's football news, the results, tables, goal scorers, match reports and post-match reaction, and for sports news across the board, you can go to the BBC Sport website, which is constantly being updated. Now, via the red button, we'll continue to hear from managers and players as they emerge from their dressing rooms. And the league tables will cycle on the screen. Gavin, Martin and Garth will continue to debate and discuss all today's results. But this is where we say goodbye to BBC One viewers. To stay with us here in the Final Score studio, please press the red button. Otherwise, it's bye for now.